Good morning, Premier Train. What's up? All right, y'all. So, should have started out this morning at 11 Eastern over at Will's Treasures, followed by my bro, Silver Bolt 30, and then Everyday Opportunity, subbing in for Wild West Stacker. Then the man, the myth, the legend, Mad Stacker himself. Then you're here with me, Gold Sniping Farmer. After this, we're going to hit up Pistol Packing Pilot, followed by Ringmaster Ray, and bringing up the caboose, Mrs. Coin Crew, the squirrel herself. We are approaching the 3-year anniversary of the Premier Train. Congratulations, huge anniversary, and I'm definitely honored to be part of the Premier Train. Thank you for having me. All right, let's get into it. We're going to do a video on how to make some fermented hot sauce. This is probably going to be a part 1 or 2 because it needs to ferment before I can get on to the next stage. And the fermentation process is going to take about 7 to 10 days. All right, but anyways, let's get into it. So fermenting's an easy thing. You don't need any fancy gadgets or anything. You literally just need like a bottle and some salt, and then the ingredients. And we've got a plethora here of peppers that I pulled out of the garden. So I'm gonna actually, I don't know how many of these we'll need. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try to organize these by color, and then we come back. I will then start working on the rest of it. All right, well, as you can see, we've got it sorted out, and I only did that because if you're looking for a particular color in your sauce, it's probably not going to happen this time. I'm going to go with the red and the orange and yellow to start with, and then if I need additional peppers, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll dip into the purple, and a lot of them are whitish. They didn't really turn purple, some of them. And then the green. But yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. So now we just need to cut them up and get them ready and pack them in tight into the jar, because as they ferment, they will get soft and you'll get air pockets. All right, so let's get going. And in my house, there's no waste. Everything is going to end up in the compost. If it doesn't end up in the jar, take the jar out. I'm using a half a gallon mason jar. I think that mason jar is probably the smartest one to go with. And then, you might need to wear some gloves if you're not, if you're sensitive to heat, but I'm pretty. I know these cayenne and chili peppers pretty well, so I know what I can handle. But what'll happen is the oils from the seeds will get onto your skin and can cause some pain, possibly. And then if you don't want it as sweet, if you don't want it super spicy, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can use more sweet peppers than hot peppers. You can take the time to remove a lot of the seeds and the flesh on the inside of the peppers. That's where most of the heat comes from. But I just put it all in there, and whatever happens. The heat is whatever the heat ends up being, and that's fine with me. I like it that way. And then sometimes you'll get a bad spot that you may need to cut around. Alright, y'all, so you can see we finished up the red peppers, and we're only about maybe a third, quarter to a third, and that's without it being packed down. So we might be using about all the peppers, but before we get into finishing the peppers, what we want to do, or what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take my onion here, a large white onion, and the entire bulb of garlic. We're going to add these. I want to make sure there's room. I don't want to run out of room and then not be able to get in these ingredients. But yes, we are just sticking with this simple ingredients at the moment that we we want to ferment. We're not getting into anything else with all the other spices that you can add. That we'll do at the later date after the fermentation is over. So, all right, y'all. So you can see we got the onion and garlic in there. That filled up quite a bit. I haven't smashed it down. We'll do that right now. Get a little bit more space, and then we'll kind of have an idea. And you don't have to go crazy with the smashing, but you know, I want to pack it in there, man. This is gonna end up shrinking in the long run. So, all right, let's keep going. We're now gonna get into the orange, and then we'll go from there. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. So now you can see we've gotten the orange in there, and we still got some space. Not a ton, but we still got some space. So now I'm gonna have to make a decision on what I put in there: purple, white, green. I don't know. I'll figure it out. All right, y'all. So now you can see we've got our half-gallon mason jar. Pretty darn full. It's not a lot of room. That's all right. It's plenty of room for what we need to do. But you can see we got our red peppers, we got our onions and garlic, orange and yellow, some greens, a couple purples in there. Whatever, man. It's gonna end up being a weird color, but hey, it's hot sauce. It'll eat. All right. So the next step, and probably the most crucial step to fermenting, is going to be the salt, y'all. And you want to use some really good, high quality sea salt. And I personally love Redmond's real salt. This is mined in Utah, in the U.S. This is how it comes out of the ground. Salt's not supposed to be white, y'all. It is not supposed to be white. So get yourself some good salt. This is important. Very important. Very important. You do not want ionized salt. You definitely want some good quality sea salt. You can use pink Himalayan salt. The only problem with so here's the thing with pink Himalayan salt. Put a little pink Himalayan salt in a glass of water and shake it up and let it sit there for a while. If the water turns pink, it's fake. So watch out for fake Himalayan salt. It does exist. Now, so the ratio is 4 tablespoons to a gallon. Okay, this is a half gallon. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of this really good salt. I'm generous. It's better to have a little too much salt than not enough salt. So for fermenting at least. So, all right, and that will get the brine started once we get the water in there. So now all that's left is to add the water, and you should really use some unchlorinized or filtered water. So if you're using tap water, one thing you can do is you can draw the water ahead of time the night before, and then leave it out, just like in this, open. Just leave it out open in this, and the chlorine will dissipate before you need it. In the morning or in the afternoon when you use it. Overnight it'll dissipate. Believe it or not, that'll happen. All right, so we might need more water to top this off. I might need to pour some out. I don't know. Sometimes I fill it up too much, but you'll see there's a bunch of air bubbles that'll occur in here. So like what I like to do is I like to take a chopstick. And I like to just go around the outside and just trying to make sure as much air as you can. So the thing with air is that can cause bad bacteria to form. So it just helps to try to get rid of all the air ahead of time if you can. So I like to try at least. And then the other thing is you're going to want everything under water. Everything needs to be submerged. So obviously now that you see, I must have had a lot of air pockets because the water is dry. I need more water. So, well, I guess technically I need to shake it up first. So we'll do that first, and then we'll mess around with it a little bit more. So put some more water in there. That might be too much, but oh well. And then I get these plastic caps. They come in handy. Sealed on, nice and tight. I'll shake her up. Get that salt. You want to use warm water, like I'm using lukewarm water. It's been sitting out. I just always have like a half-gallon mason jar full of water sitting on the counter. It's easier to absorb lukewarm water than it is cold water. So when I come in from the garden, I'm dehydrated. I like to down a bunch of water, so it helps when it's lukewarm. So there you go. So once again, look at it. The water levels appears to have dropped again. So we obviously have shaken out a bunch of the air bubbles, probably loosened it all up, so that's all popped up to the top. So what we'll do now is push it down, see where we're at. The water level. And like I said, you want to make sure everything's below the water. If it is above the water, it will start to form mold potentially. And you could end up having to throw away your entire batch. You don't want to have to do that. You don't want to waste. Being wasteful is not a good thing. All right, so let's think maybe we'll top her up. Just touch. You don't need to shake it back up at this point. It's just a little bit of water. It's not that big a deal. And then to keep everything down, I have these nice glass weights that you can get. They're not super expensive. They got nice little things to pull them out. But I'm going to do. This is kind of hard for you guys to see that. Let me see if I can put this up a little higher. There you go. So just going to stick the weight in on the top. Push it down a little. And it's okay if the water comes up over the weight and comes in to the middle. Helps hold it down even a little. We got some seeds popping up, but I'm not too concerned about the seeds, to be honest with you. And so it is pretty high. And what can happen is the gases are going to release while this ferments for like 7 to 10 days in a warm, well, whatever, room temperature. You don't want it in sunlight. So I'm going to set it off in like my pantry. But as the gases come up, the water could wick up over. So I'll typically put it on like a plate or in a bowl or something, just in case that does happen. The other thing is you can put this back on, but then how's the gas going to get out, right? You can put it on loosely. Yeah, you could definitely do that. But the trick I like to do, take a coffee filter, place that right over the top, screw the lid, the band, back on. That comes with the mason jar. Now there literally is no cap up here. So air can escape out of the filter, but no dust or bugs or anything can get in, so it's keeping it all nice and secure and safe and clean. So that's part one, y'all. Pretty simple. Like I said, it's going to sit for 7 to 10 days fermenting. So my next video will not be part 2 because I'll need a little bit extra time for it to finish fermenting. I like a pretty nice ferment, so I'm probably going to go with a 10-day ferment on this. The longer it ferments, the more sour it gets, typically. But yeah, I'm going to go for a 10-day ferment. That's kind of the day. I trialed it last year, and I like the 10-day ferment. So we're going to stick it for 10 days, see what happens. We'll come back and we'll work on part 2. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for popping into my stream, checking out this video on how easy it is to make homemade fermented hot sauce. We'll get to the rest of it next time. But let's keep the train moving. We're moving over on to Pistol Packing Pilot now. Link in chat. Once again, appreciate y'all for stopping in. If you haven't already, give it a like, subscribe, share it out. Appreciate y'all. See you around.